Shalom, welcome back. Today, I am going to share a warning. It is a warning about a silent leak in your financial life. Most people believe that losing money is a loud, obvious event. They think it happens when the stock market crashes, when a business deal falls through, or when they make a terrible investment. But the Torah teaches something entirely different. The Torah teaches that financial loss does not begin in the physical world. It begins in the spiritual world. It begins in a specific, exact moment. A moment that you probably experience every single day without even realizing it. Today, I am going to reveal the exact moment money leaves your life and how you can stop the leak before it drains your future. If you look at the teachings of the Talmud, you will find a profound concept. The sages teach that a person does not commit a destructive act unless a spirit of folly, a ruach shtut, enters them first. This means that every financial mistake, every lost opportunity, and every sudden expense is preceded by a shift in your spiritual state. Your bank account is simply a mirror reflecting your internal alignment. When you fall out of alignment, the blessing departs, and it departs in 3 very specific moments. If you can learn to identify these moments, you can seal the leaks in your financial vessel and keep the wealth you have worked so hard to build. But before we go deeper, I need to tell you something important. You are probably watching this video because you are tired of working yourself to the bone and never getting ahead. You are tired of the constant financial anxiety. You are letting the world command your destiny instead of commanding it yourself. And for those who are truly serious about accelerating their journey, for a limited time, I am opening the doors to the Torah Millionaire Business School for just $299. This is where I unveil the complete Torah wealth system. The full architecture of ancient wisdom applied to modern financial transformation. The doors are closing soon. The link is in the comments. The first exact moment money leaves your life is the moment of arrogance. In the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 8, verse 17, Moses gives the Israelites a severe warning before they enter the promised land. He says, "And you say in your heart, 'My power and the might of my hand have gotten me this wealth.'" Moses knew that when people become successful, they tend to forget the source of their success. They start believing that their intelligence, their hustle, and their strategy are the only reasons they are rich. The Torah warns that the exact moment you believe you are the sole creator of your wealth is the exact moment the blessing begins to drain. This is not just a moral failing, it is a structural collapse of your financial vessel. In Kabbalistic terms, wealth flows from the infinite realm into the finite world through a channel of humility. When you acknowledge that your talents, your opportunities, and your very breath are gifts from the Creator, you keep that channel wide open. You act as a conduit. But the moment arrogance sets in, the moment you say, "I did this all by myself," you pinch the hose. You disconnect yourself from the infinite source and rely solely on your own limited, finite energy. And because human energy is finite, it eventually runs out. The market shifts, a competitor emerges, or a crisis hits, and because you have cut yourself off from the divine flow, your wealth begins to evaporate. Let me tell you about a man named Richard. Richard was a brilliant software developer. He built an app that was acquired for millions of dollars. Overnight, he became incredibly wealthy. But with that wealth came a subtle shift in his personality. He started talking down to his employees. He stopped giving to charity. He believed that because he was smart enough to build the app, he was invincible. He had entered the moment of arrogance. Within 2 years, Richard made a series of disastrous investments. He trusted the wrong people because his ego blinded him to their flaws. He lost almost everything. I sat down with Richard and showed him the verse in Deuteronomy. I explained that his wealth was a gift from the Creator, and the moment he claimed sole ownership of it, he cut himself off from the source. Richard had to learn the hard way that humility is the ultimate financial protection. The second exact moment money leaves your life is the moment of verbal destruction. In the Talmud, Tractate Bava Metzia, page 58, the sages discuss the concept of ona'at devarim, which means verbal wrongdoing. The Talmud states that causing someone emotional pain with your words is actually worse than cheating them financially. Why? Because financial fraud can be repaid, but the damage done to a person's soul cannot be easily undone. The sages teach that the gates of heaven are always open to the tears of someone who has been humiliated. When you use your words to shame, belittle, or gossip about another person, you create a spiritual tear in your own vessel. The exact moment you speak lashon hara, evil speech, is the exact moment your financial protection is removed. The Talmud in Tractate Arachin, page 15, goes even further. It states that speaking lashon hara is equivalent to denying the existence of God. How does this relate to money? Because wealth is a form of divine energy, and divine energy cannot reside in a space filled with cruelty. When you speak negatively about a competitor, when you gossip about a colleague, or when you humiliate an employee, you are generating a toxic frequency. This frequency acts like acid on your financial container. You might still be making money in the short term, but the blessing is gone. The money will slip through your fingers in the form of unexpected taxes, legal fees, medical bills, or broken contracts. The universe has a strict accounting system, and the cost of destroying another person's dignity is always extracted from your own abundance. This brings us to Clara. Clara ran a highly successful consulting firm. She was known in her industry as a shark. She was ruthless in negotiations, and she frequently humiliated her competitors and even her own staff in public. She thought this aggressive behavior was the secret to her success, but suddenly her biggest clients started leaving. Her top employees quit. Her firm was bleeding money, and she could not understand why. I explained to Clara the spiritual law of ona'at devarim. I told her that every time she humiliated someone, she was literally burning her own money. The negative energy she was putting out into the world was destroying the container that held her wealth. Clara had to completely change her communication style. She had to learn to lead with respect instead of fear. It took time, but as she repaired her relationships, her business slowly began to recover. Clara learned that your tongue is the steering wheel of your financial destiny. The third exact moment money leaves your life is the moment of paralysis. In the book of Exodus, chapter 14, the Israelites are trapped. The Red Sea is in front of them, and the Egyptian army is behind them. They are terrified. Moses starts praying to God for a miracle, but God's response is shocking. In verse 15, God says to Moses, "Why do you cry out to me? Speak to the children of Israel and let them move forward. Kanti dana yupan skam." God is telling Moses that prayer is not enough. Complaining is not enough. Waiting for a miracle is not enough. You must take physical action. The exact moment you stop moving forward, the exact moment you sit down and complain about your circumstances, is the exact moment the flow of abundance stops. This principle is known in Jewish thought as hishtadlut, which means human effort. The Torah teaches that God wants to bless you, but He requires you to build the physical vessel to receive that blessing. When you face a financial crisis, the natural human response is to freeze. We get overwhelmed by fear, we complain about how unfair the situation is, and we wait for someone else to save us. But the universe responds to momentum. When you take even the smallest step forward, when you make one phone call, send one email, or learn one new skill, you signal to the Creator that you are ready to partner with Him. Paralysis is a declaration of defeat. Movement is a declaration of faith. The moment you choose to stay paralyzed is the exact moment the universe stops sending resources your way. Let me tell you about Leonard. Leonard owned a small manufacturing company. When the economy took a downturn, his orders dried up. Instead of looking for new markets or pivoting his product line, Leonard froze. He spent his days complaining about the government, complaining about the economy, and praying for things to go back to normal. He was stuck in the moment of paralysis. His business was weeks away from bankruptcy. I told Leonard the story of the Red Sea. I told him that God was not going to split the sea for him while he was sitting on the beach complaining. He had to step into the water. He had to take action. Leonard finally woke up. He stopped complaining and started making cold calls. He found a new, smaller market that needed his manufacturing capabilities. It was hard work, but he saved his company. Leonard discovered that movement creates miracles. Paralysis creates poverty. You might be thinking, but before you go, Rabbi David, I have made these mistakes. I have been arrogant. I have spoken poorly of others. I have been paralyzed by fear. Is it too late for me? The answer is absolutely not. The beauty of the Torah's financial system is that it is built on the concept of teshuvah, which means return or repentance. Teshuvah is not about feeling guilty. It is about realigning your actions. The moment you recognize that you have created a leak in your financial vessel, you have the power to seal it. You can choose humility over arrogance. You can choose to use your words to build people up instead of tearing them down. You can choose to take action instead of complaining. But the process of teshuvah requires more than just a mental shift. It requires a physical action to demonstrate your new alignment. If you have been arrogant, the physical action is to give tzedakah, charity, anonymously. When you give money away without anyone knowing, you break the ego's need for recognition. You declare that the money is not yours to begin with. If you have spoken lashon hara, the physical action is to use your words to bless someone who cannot do anything for you in return. You must use the same instrument that caused destruction to create healing. And if you have been paralyzed, the physical action is to take one concrete step toward your goal today, no matter how small or insignificant it seems. These physical actions are the seals that repair the leaks in your financial vessel. They are the proof that your internal shift is real. The universe does not respond to your intentions, it responds to your actions. When you align your actions with the principles of humility, kindness, and forward momentum, you rebuild the container for your wealth. You create a space where the blessing can rest and multiply. You stop the silent drain on your finances and open the floodgates of abundance. Remember, wealth is not just a number in a bank account. It is a state of spiritual alignment. It is the physical manifestation of a soul that is in harmony with the Creator. When you protect your alignment, you protect your wealth. When you guard your words, you guard your future. When you choose movement over paralysis, you choose life over stagnation. The exact moment money leaves your life is the moment you forget these truths. But the exact moment money returns to your life is the moment you remember them. This is the secret that the wealthy understand. They know that their financial success is intimately tied to their spiritual discipline. They do not just manage their money, they manage their energy. They manage their words. They manage their ego. They understand that the greatest threat to their wealth is not the economy or the government or their competitors. The greatest threat to their wealth is their own internal misalignment. By mastering their internal state, they master their external reality. You have the same power. You have the same access to the divine flow of abundance. The only thing standing between you and the wealth you desire is the leaks in your vessel. Identify the moments of arrogance. Identify the moments of verbal destruction. Identify the moments of paralysis. Seal those leaks with humility, kindness, and action. Build a vessel that is worthy of the blessing, and watch as the universe fills it to overflowing. Furthermore, it is essential to understand that the universe is constantly testing your vessel. These tests do not come in the form of grand, dramatic events. They come in the small, seemingly insignificant moments of your day. The test comes when someone cuts you off in traffic and you have the choice to curse them or bless them. The test comes when you close a big deal and you have the choice to boast about your brilliance or quietly thank the Creator. The test comes when you receive an unexpected bill and you have the choice to panic or to take calm, decisive action. How you respond in these micro moments determines the macro trajectory of your financial life. The sages of the Talmud teach that God's blessing is like rain. The rain falls equally on everyone. But if your bucket is full of holes, it does not matter how hard it rains, you will always be thirsty. The people who struggle financially are often the ones who are standing in the rain with a broken bucket, wondering why God is not providing for them. They do not realize that the provision is already there. The problem is not the supply, the problem is the container. By mastering your reactions, by controlling your ego, your tongue, and your fear, you are patching the holes in your bucket. You are ensuring that when the blessing falls, it stays with you. This level of self-mastery requires daily vigilance. It requires you to become an observer of your own thoughts and impulses. When you feel the urge to brag, you must catch it and redirect it into gratitude. When you feel the urge to gossip, you must catch it and choose silence. When you feel the urge to freeze in the face of adversity, you must catch it and force yourself to take one step forward. This is the real work of wealth creation. It is not just about building a business or managing an investment portfolio. It is about building a character that is capable of sustaining wealth without being destroyed by it. Let us look at the story of King Solomon, the wealthiest man who ever lived. When God appeared to Solomon in a dream and offered him anything he desired, Solomon did not ask for money. He did not ask for the destruction of his enemies. He asked for an understanding heart to judge the people. Because he asked for wisdom instead of wealth, God gave him both. Solomon understood that wealth without wisdom is a curse. Wealth without character is a ticking time bomb. The exact moment money leaves your life is the moment you prioritize the accumulation of physical assets over the development of your spiritual character. The Talmud teaches that a person is led down the path they choose to walk. If you choose the path of arrogance, the universe will provide you with endless opportunities to inflate your ego until the bubble inevitably bursts. If you choose the path of verbal destruction, the universe will surround you with people who validate your negativity until you are left isolated and bankrupt. If you choose the path of paralysis, the universe will give you perfectly logical excuses to do nothing until your resources dry up completely. But if you choose the path of humility, kindness, and action, the universe will open doors you did not even know existed. This is why the daily practices of Judaism are so focused on constant micro-corrections. We pray 3 times a day, not because God needs to hear from us, but because we need to constantly realign our internal compass. We give charity every day, not because God needs our money, but because we need to constantly break the grip of greed. We study Torah every day, not just to acquire knowledge, but to constantly remind ourselves of the spiritual laws that govern the physical world. These practices are the maintenance program for your financial vessel. They ensure that the leaks are caught and sealed before they can cause catastrophic damage. The power is in your hands. Use it wisely, protect it fiercely, and watch as the universe responds to your intentionality. If you are truly serious about accelerating your journey and applying these principles at the highest level for a limited time, I am opening the doors to the Torah Millionaire Business School for just $299. This is where I unveil the complete Torah wealth system, the full architecture of ancient wisdom applied to modern financial transformation. The doors are closing soon. The link is in the comments. I look forward to seeing you inside and helping you build the wealth you were destined to create. Shalom.